What's going on, guys? Espionage Micro here, and hopefully the audio isn't too terrible. I'm recording on this app called Anchor, and hopefully I'm able to find out how to transfer the audio to YouTube and SoundCloud and whatnot, and hopefully it's not just on Anchor. But if not, if it is just on Anchor, what's up, my peeps of Anchor? How's it going? Today we're going to be talking about. First of all, let me just tell why I'm on this Anchor. I wanted to record a proper podcast for YouTube at my house on my desk, but got out of work about 1.5 hours after I thought I would. So I thought I'd go ahead and try and give this Anchor app a shot, which I've been wanting to do for a long time now. I've had it downloaded on my phone for a while, just haven't bit the bullet and recorded a podcast on it yet. I've continued to do it at my PC. So actually what we're going to be talking about today is a little bit about the Black Ops 4 craziness that's been going on. And it has been crazy with a bunch of leaks. And I just want to preface this by saying in no way is any of this stuff officially confirmed. This has just been leaked by a guy by the name of, and I believe he's a video game coder, writer, and I don't really know too much about him. But I do know on Twitter he is at Matthew. I have it written down here, but I'm driving. I kind of don't want to look over. Once I get to my house, if I'm still recording, I'll definitely go ahead and I will mention his Twitter handle so you can go check out all this stuff too. And yeah, I'll put it down in the description of YouTube and SoundCloud if I'm able to transfer this audio. So let's just get into it. The first news I wanted to talk about was the dropping of the campaign for Black Ops 4, which is absolutely crazy. If you think about Call of Duty, all the way back to the first Call of Duty, all the way up until World War II, the current Call of Duty right now, there has been a campaign, and campaign has been an absolute staple in the Call of Duty franchise. I don't care what anyone says. A lot of people obviously play it for multiplayer. A majority of people play it for the multiplayer. But I would say a good chunk of that majority also plays the campaign. And the Call of Duty storylines, I've played every single one since I've played Call of Duty, which I've played Call of Duty since Call of Duty 2. That's actually the first Call of Duty I ever played, and that was... Actually, I take that back. I never played Call of Duty 3 or Call of Duty Big Red 1, which I think might have been the same game. It gets kind of iffy for me right there. I'm not exactly sure what differentiates those games, Big Red 1 and Call of Duty 3. Whatever, you guys can feel free to let me know if you know the difference between those two. But those are the only ones I skipped. And World at War. I never played World at War. But other than that, I played every single Call of Duty. And obviously, the campaign is there. That's the main reason. I mean, that's not the main reason I play or anyone else plays, but that's a huge part of the Call of Duty thing. I used to make it a point, all the way probably up until, Advanced Warfare maybe, where I wouldn't play multiplayer until I completed the campaign mode. That's how serious campaign was for me, and I'm sure it's for a lot of people. People just play it because it's a limited time thing. You could knock out the Call of Duty campaigns in a day and a half if you grind it out. They're really not that, they're really not that long, but they used to have such good story writing, man. The Black Ops 3 campaign literally physically made me sick to my stomach with the things they were doing in that campaign. It was awesome. I love the Infinite Warfare. You can say what you want about that game. It had terrible multiplayer. Boost jumping, whatever, didn't work for multiplayer. You can say that. But you cannot say that single player wasn't just badass. That campaign for Infinite Warfare was dope. It hit you in the feels when, spoiler alert, 3, 2, 1, when the robot Ethan dies, and all of your team dies except for you. Actually, even you die, I think. I'm pretty sure even you die. And then, it shows you your partner, your girl counterpart in the game, looking at all your fallen comrades' names on the wall. It hits you in the feels, and I don't know, it was incredible. And every single year, World War II had an incredible campaign, bro. It was a cinematic movie. Sledgehammer did that with Advanced Warfare 2, where they just made it a goddamn movie that you played. And that's pretty much what the Call of Duty campaigns have been. And taking it way back to like the Call of Duty 2 days when it was World War II, obviously, and just going. I remember specifically one mission where you have to fight your way up into this building, and there's a cutscene, and then at the end of one mission, it starts a new mission, and literally you with all of your battalion unit. I don't really know what it is, but it's like you got like 100 people there, and you're charging this building where the Germans are just holding this building with LMGs, mounted LMGs in the windows, and they're just and you gotta clear them out, and your people are there cheering you on. You know what I mean? You know how the campaigns go. They're like, yeah, bro, let's break these Germans, come and send them back, and they start retreating. You eventually break the building, and actually, if I remember correctly, the mission, 100% I'm remembering this correctly, the building that you break into is actually Noctur Untoten. Actually, wait, is that World at War? I don't know, I might be getting confused. Maybe I have played the World at War storyline. I don't know. But I think even back then it might have been Noctur Untoten. I might be confusing my campaigns here, but y'all get what I'm saying. Maybe it's not too fresh in my memory. But the campaigns have been a staple of the Call of Duty, and apparently, according to this Matthew Smith, I want to say, maybe it's something else, like I'll say, once I get to my destination, I'll let you guys know what his name is. Black Ops 4, according to this leak, Activision was pretty upset with the way they were going with it, where it was way too futuristic, and it had to do with like memory time travel or like mind time travel, where some missions would be like in the future and some missions would be in the past, and it would include aspects from like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, and then the future Black Ops 4. It would include all of those, so boots on the ground with the advanced jumping, advanced movement system. It would be, it would incorporate both because it's like time travel type thing. And the majority of the game, from what this leak says, would have been in the future, and that's why Activision was upset, because they made that announcement, Eric Hirschberger, before he stepped down from his position as CEO of Activision, that for the next few years, it would be boots on the ground. And they were spending most of their time up in space, up into the future. So that was up until, like, a couple days ago, like, literally, like, April 16th was when this guy first released this initial leak. There has been an update to that since then on multiplayer. We'll get into that a little bit later. So yeah, apparently that's why it was scrapped. They decided just to focus their efforts on the two core game modes, zombies and multiplayer. As you guys know, zombies ain't going nowhere. It's still there. And just hopping into that a little bit, there's not too much information, but what he said was, in Treyarch, there's apparently some heads clashing, some differences of ideas, and some, especially in the zombies side of things, there's some stuff going down, man. People aren't happy, and pretty much what we know, we'll get into it. This guy thinks, and I don't know if this has been confirmed or like speculated on, but this guy pretty much said with certainty that Jason Blundell, the head of the zombies, storyline, the head of zombies pretty much for Treyarch, will actually be departing from Treyarch at the end of 2018, after after Black Ops 4. It's officially confirmed that it's Black Ops 4. He'll be stepping down from his role. I don't know if he'll be moving on to other things in the company. What this guy said is he'll be leaving the company. He doesn't like the way Treyarch is moving with anything, pretty much multiplayer, zombies. There's too much stress, and they feel like they're putting too much pressure on the zombies team. So what this guy thinks, like I said, I don't know if this has been confirmed, is that Jason Blundell will be leaving Treyarch after Black Ops 4, which is sad, man. I know he was a lead on the story of the campaign, actually, for Treyarch for a long time now, and he was, moved to zombies and the head of the zombie thing, and everyone loved him as head of the zombies, and it's unfortunate to see such a big name within Treyarch departing because of stuff like this. Like I said, this is speculation. This in no way is confirmed. This is all leaks, and you can take it at face value what these leaks are, because it could be a troll, it could be real, and it's leaning towards the real side because this person has like a good track record of leaks and whatnot, and he's leaked other things from Call of Duty, and everyone seems to believe him. And with these kind of things, they actually when do they ever not get confirmed? You know what I'm saying? A majority of the time when there's huge leaks like this and all the YouTubers are covering it, a majority of the time they're accurate and they actually, they're confirmed. It gets, you know what I'm saying? It happens. They come through fruition. And I just reached my destination. Let me go ahead and look at here. So his Twitter is at Matthew Harris UK. That's the guy's Twitter that leaked all this stuff. Like I said, if I'm able to get this on YouTube, if I'm able to get this on SoundCloud, I'll go ahead and put it in the description so you can go ahead and check out this article for yourself. You won't have to take my word for it. And I actually have my notes here, so that's a good thing. So the zombies, I skipped over something which we'll get to, the battle royal mode. But okay, getting more into this. Sorry for the rambling. He says that Mob of the Dead 100% is coming back, as we all pretty much knew by the teaser trailer for Black Ops 4. It's coming back, but not. And it's probably going to be remastered. And the way I say this, and the reason I say this is because let's get into it. And so Mob of the Dead is back, but he says it's not like the way you know it. It says it will be. This is why I think it's remastered. It will take place in the quote unquote real world, and it's played by the Transit crew. And so if you guys have played Black Ops 2 Zombies, you know that the entirety of the Black Ops 2 zombie storyline and every single map included some new characters that we were introduced to. And I'm not going to pretend to be a zombies expert or know 100% what's going on in the storyline. I used to be really obsessed with not even playing and finding out the Easter eggs, just watching people do the Easter eggs and kind of learning the storyline because I thought it was so freaking cool how they came up with like Easter egg stories. I thought that was dope. So I used to know, but I've since fallen, for the wayside of the zombie storyline. So I'm not going to pretend like I know even Black Ops 2, the storyline there. But I do know that it's played by the Transit crew, which is, I don't even remember. It was like Hank Dempsey's son, some homeless guy, a girl named Misty, I think, and then this like nerd IT guy. I don't remember the names. It's been a while since I've even thought about them, but I personally didn't care for those people. I loved Richtofen, Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takiao. Those are my G's, man. I love them. Like every single one of them has their own quirks and story, their own backstory. I freaking love them. So the Transit crew, kind of, whatever. It is what it is. There's someone ate a zombie or something happened, something like that happened. And, so if you guys like them, you'll be happy to hear that they're coming back. They're making a return and in the new Mob of the Dead, which I'm assuming is going to be the same exact map, just remastered. Maybe some different Easter eggs. Actually, I can almost guarantee it's some different Easter eggs. And, yeah, maybe it's 100% going to be its own storyline. And hopefully it's going to be the same map. Hopefully Brutus is still going to be there. Even if it's not Brutus, hopefully it's going to be something very similar to Brutus. Or just, nothing. I'd be fine if Brutus wasn't in there. But you kind of had to kill Brutus to get the key. I don't know. We just know that Mob of the Dead is going to be there. It's just going to be different. Probably remastered, and it's going to have the Transit crew on it. That's all we know on that so far. And then apparently it's going to release with 2 maps, Mob of the Dead, and the second map the guy really couldn't say much about because he was trying to protect, like, his friends that are giving him these leaks. Safety, and, he's not trying to get them fired or nothing. And so what we know about the second map is pretty much it's going to take place in London, and it's going to take place in the 1940s. So it kind of matches up with the Alcatraz thing. That's really all we know about zombies. That's all I got from what he knew about the zombies. Just look through my notes a little bit here. Zombies team, Stress, Jason Blundell's leaving at the end of Black Ops 4. That's really all I had. Before we get into the biggest part of this, which is the multiplayer, we'll hop into the difference here. And we all know Fortnite's taken over the world. We all know Epic Games. That's they're the Nazis, and Fortnite is they're brainwashing everyone, and they're gonna take over the world one day. That's what it seems like with Fortnite. Like, Jesus Christ, everyone and their mother is playing this game. It's changed the face of video games. Mark my words, this Fortnite has changed the face of video games forever. It's never going to be the same. It can't be the same, especially with multiplayer. And they did it right, man. Battle Royale games have been around for a while. Arma 2, DayZ, PlayerUnknown's Battleground, H1Z1, and then Fortnite, for some reason, whatever, if there was a lack in whatever, Epic Games knocked it out of the park, hit a grand slam, and they changed the face of video games. Like I said, they changed the face of video games forever. It will never be the same. Companies are going to have to raise their standards. Companies are going to have to change their models based on their DLC, free-to-play games, things like that. Nothing will ever be the same in the video game industry. Mark my words. I feel very strongly about that. And it's accurate. I feel like it's obvious at this point. There's no going back to the old style, here's some supply drops, here's some, you can buy these, do it with your wheel. You can't go back to that. It's out of the question. Absolutely cannot be done. So getting into that, it's the Battle Royale mode. We all know, I've speculated it. I've made a podcast about it, how I don't think Black Ops 4 would be released with the Battle Royale mode. Apparently, according to this guy, I'm dead wrong. It's going to be released with a Battle Royale mode, and let's get into that just a little bit more. Actually, yeah, just a smidgen more. And once again, I have to say, this is speculation. This is not confirmed, but I will go off with what we have this week. Okay, so according to this guy, Raven Software has been taking off everything related to what they've been doing. And if you guys know, Raven Software has been working with Call of Duty, I believe, since, I don't even want to get this wrong, but I think like Modern Warfare 3, maybe even before that. Raven Software has been, affiliated with Call of Duty, maybe even way back when Call of Duty 1 days. I might just be talking about out of my ass there. But Raven Software, for a very long time, has been working with Activision on Call of Duty, and in multiplayer, in campaign, in whatever. And they've been taking off all their duties to focus solely on the Battle Royale mode for Call of Duty, called Call of Duty Battle Royale at this current moment. That's what he calls it. Raven Software apparently is developing a standalone Battle Royale mode as their sole task. This is the only thing that Raven Software will be working on, is the Battle Royale mode for Call of Duty, which in part is kind of like a separate game. We'll get into that. So I have here a COD Battle Royale will be released alongside Black Ops 4 as a separate entity. And so what this means, if you're a little bit confused, is if you're familiar with H1Z1, when H1Z1 first came out, it was sold as one game. It was based, H1Z1, you survive the apocalypse with the zombies and whatnot. It was like it's an open world zombie game, survival game. And then it had a separate mode called, I don't remember what it was called at the release, but it was King of the Hill, or it was Battle Royale. I think it was actually called Battle Royale. And then they realized the Battle Royale genre was much, much, much more popular than the survival mode. So then they split it into two different entities, which if you already have the game, you got to keep, but it just split it into survival and then Battle Royale. It had two different launchers. It acted like two different games, but essentially it was the same thing. They were both H1Z1, but they just split it into like campaign, if you will, the survival mode, and Battle Royale mode. They split it up into two. So if you think about it like that, that's how it's sounding like this is going to be released. It'll be Black Ops 4, but when you get Black Ops 4, you'll have like, if you know back in the day, some games used to be on 2 discs. It'll be one disc will be the Black Ops 4 multiplayer and zombies, and then you'll have a second disc, if you will, that will be just the Battle Royale mode. You'll have to use separate discs to access either of those game modes. And so think about it like that. And digitally, you'll buy Black Ops 4, and it'll come with a separate download that is the Battle Royale mode. So you'll buy Black Ops 4, it'll come with the Battle Royale mode. You won't have to pay anything extra. It's just a separate launcher on your PS4. If you have digital games now on your PS4 or Xbox One, to launch games, you'll see like a little picture of the game, and you'll click on that picture, it'll launch the game. So essentially, you'll have a picture that has Black Ops 4 on it, which will have zombies and campaign, or not campaign, unfortunately, but multiplayer, and then you'll just have a separate picture that has Battle Royale mode on it. Okay, you guys get it. Don't want to spend too much time on that. And also, what I want to cover here is the Battle Royale mode will not be a yearly release, but will be updated with new guns and maps with the release of new Call of Duty titles. And I have here in parentheses, including DLC with a question mark, because I'm confused by this and I don't understand how this will work. I think it's kind of far-fetched and it doesn't really make sense to me. That doesn't mean Treyarch hasn't come up with a way to do this, or Raven Software. hasn't come up with an idea on how to like make this a solid, plan. But for me, it's a little bit confusing. So what this is essentially saying is that Call of Duty Battle Royale will be not released yearly. It'll be the same thing from Call of Duty. So like the next one, say if it's like Modern Warfare 4, if Infinity Ward does that, Call of Duty Battle Royale will stay the same, but the campaign and the zombies, or not even zombies, the third quote unquote party game, whatever mode, and then multiplayer will change, but the Battle Royale mode will just be updated. And I'm really confused at that, because like, what if you didn't get, say, Black Ops 4, but you do get Modern Warfare 4? And it says like guns and maps and stuff will be updated with the release of new Call of Duties, but you'll have to purchase the new Call of Duty to get access to like the new stuff. And I was just thinking, will that include DLC? I think it would have to, right? The Battle Royale mode would have to be updated with DLC guns that are updated. Like, it's confusing concept. I don't really understand it, and I don't get how they would make that work with, like, what if you didn't get one game, skipped a game, and then got, say, let's just say, hypothetically, Black Ops 4, we get Battle Royale mode, and then the next year, it gets updated and we get Modern Warfare 4, and then the next year, we get Advanced Warfare 2. Sledgehammer decides to go to Advanced Warfare. What if you buy Black Ops 4 with the Battle Royale mode, you skip Modern Warfare 4, but then you get Advanced Warfare 2? Will you still have access to Modern Warfare 4 guns and maps and stuff? Because technically you didn't buy that game, so why would you get access to that, that stuff? And that's what it's saying here, is you have to buy like that Call of Duty to gain access to the weapons and DLC maps, and that will kind of throw a wrench into matchmaking for the Battle Royale mode. So kind of confusing there. Let me know if you guys, have an idea of how they would do that. Just confused me a little bit. Maybe I haven't looked into it, enough. But that's pretty much, what we have on that. You'd have to buy the new COD title. Yep, zombies. Okay, we already covered that. Let's hop into the biggest part and the one near and dear to my heart, which is multiplayer, which, if you guys are fans of the Call of Duty franchise multiplayer, you play competitively or you just like to play casually, if you've been ride or die with Call of Duty since the beginning, like I have, this next part, I'll just warn you, is heartbreaking and terrifying. And once again, I say, this is speculation, has not been confirmed. But from the leak, we have, according to game testers, the Call of Duty multiplayer feels nothing like Call of Duty multiplayer, but more like a ripoff of Overwatch or Lawbreakers. That hurts me. That hurts me deeply to say. I've never played Overwatch. I've never played Lawbreakers, but I know that it's not Call of Duty, and I know that I have no interest in purchasing Overwatch. I have no interest in playing Overwatch. Lawbreakers, I've literally never even heard of. I watched Chaos Silencer's video on this, and apparently Lawbreakers is like a ripoff of Overwatch, and it's a bad one at that. It's apparently, what I heard, it's a big flop. At its height, it only had 8,000 people playing it at one time, which is terrible. That's dog crap compared to what games like Call of Duty bring in, where they have hundreds of thousands of players playing at one time concurrently. And Fortnite right now probably has millions, hundreds of thousands up into the millions. I would venture to say you have zero problem finding Fortnite games. That's all I'm saying. So, according to game testers, initially, from the initial little thing we got, that's what it felt like. It was a ripoff of Overwatch and Lawbreakers, and according to the game testers, at first the specialists were focused heavily on, and they were, compared to the heroes of Overwatch. I know enough about Overwatch to know that heroes are like specialists from Black Ops 3 and all this, and they have their own special abilities unique to them, and special power-ups and weapons and whatnot that are unique to them. And apparently it was just like that in Call of Duty with the specialist, which, I don't know, man. Specialists are okay, whatever. Do what you got to do. But focusing so heavily on them was, that's what it sounded like. It was going to be like a cartoon type hero thing. And let's just move on, because it gets better, I guess. They also said that perks were like score streaks on steroids. I'm paraphrasing that. Those are my own words. But so kill streaks didn't exist as we know them right now. Like, you get a chopper gunner and you get a certain amount of kills, you get like a chopper gunner, and you rain down hell on the map. They didn't exist as we know them. Instead, perks were kind of like score streaks. You'd start off with nothing, and as you get kills, you would get these perks, which were kind of like score streaks. They would give you, you know what I'm saying? They would give you special power-ups. Like, you guys know what I mean. Compare this to like if you ever played Modern Warfare 3, and I believe I know another game had it, Ghost maybe? Yeah, definitely Ghost. Had this where you would replace your kill streaks with like a perk streak. You would go on kills, like a kill streak, but you would get perks for, more kills that you got. You would get more perks instead of like score streaks. So if you guys are familiar with the Specialist from Ghost and from Modern Warfare 3, you know what I'm talking about. So just think back to that. If not, Google it. You'll figure it out. What else here? And, okay, so the first leak we got with multiplayer was nothing. So this is after the update, and this was yesterday as I'm recording this on the 19th. He updated this on the 18th of April, 2018. So initially, all he was able to say, because he didn't want to get his friend in trouble, like I said, was that multiplayer was a mixture of boots on the ground and advanced movement. And people were like, what the hell? What does that even mean? How can you do that? That sounds weird. And he updated it a couple days later. And so what we have here is that one of the perks that you get, like I was just talking about, as you got kills, you would get a perk that would give you advanced movement. So everyone would basically start off with boots on the ground, but as you progressed, I would imagine it had to have been like one of the higher upper echelon perks that you got would give you advanced movement, similar to the Black Ops 3 movement system, which is what they said. So you would be able to wall run if you got this perk. If you got enough kills, you would be able to boost into the air, wall run, giving you so much of an advantage against people that were not at that point yet. And it would borderline be on the verge of, like, why even play? At that point, as soon as someone has advanced movement, just quit. Like, there's no point of even playing. You're going to be so outmatched, it's not even going to be funny. You're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to access certain parts of the map. You're not going to be able to evade like this person's evading. Yeah, this person could freaking wall run on you, jump 1,000 feet in the air. You're not even expecting it. You can't reach them. There's nothing you can do. You might as well quit. It's pointless at that point. So that's essentially what happened. But it was updated. It gets a little better, so don't fret at this. Upon this update, he says, playtesters didn't like it, so Treyarch started to change things. They realized, playtesters pretty much told Treyarch, hey man, this is dog shit. People aren't going to buy your game if you keep it like this. Essentially, I'm paraphrasing. That's how it went down between Treyarch and the playtesters. And so, upon this happening, kill streaks were actually added. Specialists, or the heroes, quote unquote, were nerfed, and it's starting to feel more like Black Ops 3, according to this leak. So that's good. Black Ops 3 wasn't a terrible game. I liked it. You all know my history with that. I stopped playing because I thought it was so internet-based and whatnot. But it was a good game overall. I enjoyed playing it casually, and I didn't mind the movement. I like the Advanced Warfare movement better than the Black Ops 3 movement system, which you all are going to hate on me for that. I don't mind. But me personally, Advanced Warfare was awesome. I love that movement. But I digress. And so yeah, that's really all we had is that happened. So just to recap a little bit, the campaign has been scrapped according to this leak. It was too futuristic. Activision didn't like it. They vetoed it, and they bitch slapped them, and it was gone. Something I forgot to mention, which I think is a little bit pertinent to this story and why the whole Jason Blundell thing might be happening and why this guy thinks it's happening, is because Jason Blundell, while being the head of the zombies thing, he also was the head of the campaign, like I was saying. He was the head of the campaign story for a while, and apparently he was like a major part of something that got vetoed in Black Ops 3 as well, and then a huge idea in Black Ops 4. The entire campaign was scrapped, and his idea got vetoed again. So I would imagine he's a little bit upset about that and frustrated and kind of pissed off, and be like, okay, my ideas aren't being whatever, they're just being scrapped. So I would imagine that's a huge reason why, if it is true, why he would be leaving. Forgot to mention that, but yeah, just to recap. Yeah, Black Ops 4 campaign getting scrapped, Jason Blundell is most likely leaving Treyarch at the end of Black Ops 4, which I just have to add my 2 cents in here. We haven't heard from David Vonderhaar in a while, that's all I'm saying. No big news with him, and he's usually chatty Cathy on Twitter and all this. Just saying. Hopefully, in Vaughn we trust is the slogan for Treyarch. People love the Treyarch games mostly. So hopefully David Vonderhaar stays the course with Treyarch and takes him up a notch. I really hope that's the case. Even though the Black Ops series hasn't been my favorite iteration of Call of Duty, that was probably my least favorite. I didn't like Black Ops 2, didn't like Black Ops 1, and yeah, all that. Hopefully he stays the course, man, and keeps Call of Duty where it's supposed to go. Also, zombies, not much, but we know the Transit Crew's coming back. Mob of the Dead's being remastered or remade. Something like that's happening. Second Zombies map is in London in the 1940s. That's all we know there. Multiplayer was feeling like an Overwatch ripoff there for a minute, and it was going completely away from what Call of Duty, we're used to. And that actually might tie in with the slogan of Black Ops 4 that we have so far, is forget everything you know. And that slogan is kind of going to be ingrained into my brain, and it's going to scare the shit out of me until we know what the hell's going on. As I'm making this, April 18th, I'm pretty sure in like a couple weeks or a few days, something like that, we're getting the Black Ops 4 reveal. We're getting the multiplayer reveal, man. Even if there is no campaign, if this leak is bullshit, let me say this. We're going to be getting a leak. We're going to be getting a trailer or a reveal of the campaign. If it is accurate, there's no campaign to reveal. We're not getting jack shit. So we are going to be getting the multiplayer reveal here in a couple weeks, if this leak is true. And yeah, man, it's getting released a month earlier this year in October instead of November. So that's adding to the tension, and it's putting people under pressure. And it's, man, Raven Software must be working their ass off 24. I'm not even joking. If it is true and Raven Software is developing a Battle Royale mode that's going to be released alongside Black Ops 4, in October, there's going to be people at Raven Software working 24-hour shifts. I kid you not. That's how big a Battle Royale game is. It's going to be 100-person. They do have experience with it in, the Chinese Call of Duty Online, where they do have a Battle Royale mode that incorporates guns from all the games and things like that. So they do have experience. But I kid you not, to make something separate for the Western, world, Western Hemisphere, those motherfuckers are working 24-hour days. You can guarantee that. There's going to be no breaks, no sleeps. They're working their ass off to get this going, especially if they got a late start and, they started making after the explosion, the nuke of Fortnite. So, hats off to my people at Raven. And if it is true, hopefully they do a good job with it. They do some good stuff in Call of Duty. Hats off to them if they're able to pull this shit off. That's crazy, man. Anyways, guys, yeah, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. Hopefully I'm not wasting my breath here and I'm actually able to find a way to put this on SoundCloud and YouTube. If not, I'm going to keep this on Anchor, be my first video, and I'll just re-record it once I get inside. And I'm making a promise. I'm going to have this up by 9 a.m. Friday, the 20th. It is late. It's after midnight now, so I'm going to have to stay up, and I ain't going to sleep. That's fine. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. Everything will be in the description. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, all that stuff, Instagram, Vero. I don't know how the hell to say it. I think it's Vero. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much. I'm panicking on Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Hopefully you guys can relate. If you're watching this, you can probably relate. If you got this far, thank you. I'll catch you guys on the next one, homies. Peace out.